Okay, so it seems like it's been a little bit of a while since we've talked about this topic, and if you don't know what the topic is from seeing the thumbnail and title, well, it's about ShyLily and also Sinder. Now, Sinder has been back ever since the whole Google Doc thing. That was pretty much the last time we talked about her, when she released her Google Doc on all of the other VTubers and stuff involved in her situation. Again, you guys can go back and watch that if you want to, if you haven't had a recap of that, but I'm sure a lot of you guys are already caught up on exactly what has happened so far. And, well, it seems like we have a kind of, I feel like it's a final message. I mean, I'm not too sure if it's a final message, but again, it seems like we have a final, I guess, statement from ShyLily to her audience about this kind of stuff, which a lot of people haven't really picked up on lately. And this was during her New Year's celebration. As you can see here, she's got the New Year's countdown up, and it's like 28 minutes too. And, you know, one of the big things that has obviously taken over ShyLily and also Cinder's kind of, I guess, lives over the past, you know, this year, or last year, sorry, it's 2026 now, has been the Sinder drama, right? It has been that, and it has taken up a lot of the year, and obviously a lot of the harassment to both of them have taken up a lot of their year. So, again, it's only natural that, you know, she's going to reflect on it. I don't know if Sinder reflected on it at all, but it seems like she's given us some more information in regards to actually, you know, whether they have talked or not since this whole thing has went down. And I actually have a ton of different notes from this clip. Now, you guys can go find this in the VOD if you really want to watch through it all. It's on the 3 days ago Happy New Year clip. As you guys can see, it's still up. The VOD is still up. But yeah, obviously this is kind of how it's, you know, played out. It's very emotional. Obviously, it's the end of the year. People get emotional in the end of the year anyways. But again, obviously, it has been a pretty interesting one for, you know, ShyLily and Sinder. So yeah, this is essentially the mood of it. I just kind of want to play a little clip of it.
Disappear. I've just proven everything to her. Every single thing. I've gotten closure privately, and you know, despite
Happy
the
New Year's to you and the rest of Shrimpies. The end of the year is near. Only discovered you this year, but it has made my evenings so much better having someone with such a familiar sense of humor to share the evenings with. It has helped me out of a mental.
Yeah, obviously it's quite emotional. Obviously, this is like a 20-minute, like 30-minute long whole thing where she essentially talks about Sinder and everything that has gone on with her, and, you know, what's happened essentially prior to or everything that's happened after, sorry, that has happened to, you know, ShyLily and Sinder and whatever after these Google Docs and stuff have come out. Now, obviously, she starts off by, you know, thanking her chat and saying that, you know, she's thanking them for believing in her after everything that has been tainted by a certain incident. These are her words, by the way. So I just kind of wanted to, you know, clear that. Whenever I say like tainted incident or like, you'll see in a minute, obviously this is what she is kind of referring it to as, not me personally, right? She says she won't hold it against anyone who had their views altered by accusations from her. Obviously, she says her, and we all know who she's talking about. It's Sinder. She does try to not, you know, say Sinder as much as possible. I don't even know if she actually said her name, but again, it is, you know, very obvious who she's talking about, right? And she says that she actually found closure and talked to her and spoke to her a few months ago, and that they didn't see eye to eye and wouldn't take back any of the accusations. So yeah, it seems like they did have a talk a couple of months ago about this, and you know, talking about all of the stuff and the harassment that they have both been receiving, because that is one of the big issues that ShyLily really hammers home, I guess, in this. It's not the you know, whole drama and who did what, who said what. It's more so the harassment that has been sent towards her, and also, you know, the harassment that's been sent towards Sinder as well. It's been pretty insane, and yeah, you know, she wanted to kind of at least, you know, get some either closure, obviously, on the actual situation as a whole, but also, you know, maybe try to figure out some way to stop this from happening, and, you know, so that they can both move on. But it seems like Sinder, you know, didn't really agree with some of the claims, and didn't want to take back any of the stuff that she said about ShyLily, which, again, you know, if she feels that heavily about it, then sure, okay, I can understand. And I don't think these two were exactly going to get along anyways. I wasn't really holding on to the hope that these two were going to become best friends or something after this. It's obviously that's not going to happen. You know, it's been a pretty insane situation, right? So yeah, obviously they did have a talk. You know, they got closure, at least. That's what she says. That's what she says quite a lot throughout this clip, is that she got closure on the situation and that she wants to kind of move forwards from it. But, you know, obviously they never managed to really get like to an agreement, but they got closure. So yeah, that's essentially what she's been saying. She also thanks the fans for making her smile, despite shaking in fear over Twitter schizos. Again, that is what she said. She said she was shaking in fear over Twitter schizos going after her. And again, there was a lot of that, some people digging in to many different things. Obviously, we covered the doxing stuff, but also many other things too. People are always constantly trying to unpick exactly what ShyLily has said, or, old clips or whatever, and trying to find whatever they can to essentially, prove, I guess, her to be a bad person as well. And, obviously they're going to find stuff. ShyLily isn't exactly this perfect person who hasn't done anything wrong, right? There is still a lot which I think she has done wrong, which was also revealed within that Sinder document that she released. So, again, I do think, it is understandable that, she has some mistakes there, but I think people trying to unpick it even now, it's just like, it's been a while, right? As I said, I haven't talked about this in ages, and it feels like, everybody's kind of moved on from the situation, including ShyLily and Sinder, and both of them have been silent until obviously up until this point, where ShyLily has spoken about it. But we keep on going because she says that she wants to leave things behind, and she says she's been getting non-stop harassment from people who don't know anything and wants it to end. And yeah, that's essentially why she is talking about this within this New Year's countdown stream or whatever. It's because she essentially wants to let everybody know that she's found closure with Sinder, and that they have essentially just kind of decided to, agree to disagree, and just kind of move on with what they're doing, and just, continue on and essentially forget it. Because, I know that, people are going to be very heavily for Sinder and saying, oh my God, she's ruined everything. ShyLily's ruined everything for her. And people are going to be so heavily for ShyLily, saying Sinder ruined everything for her. And it's going to be this whole mess. And I think what both of them want now is just to keep streaming, kind of ignore each other or whatever, and just keep on going, right? I know there's going to be a lot of fans that are not going to be very happy with that because they feel like they should get justice for their certain streamer. But I think at this point where, it's gotten so bad, it's gotten so big, and it's just, I think it is just one of these best situations for both of them, just for both of them, just, yeah, to move on. And I think that's what ShyLily is trying to say here, is that, telling her chat that, hey, they have spoken, they've gotten closure, and that's it. She wants to start 2026 off without mentioning it, without going into it anymore, and just kind of moving on. And, obviously she's hoping that obviously stops some of the Twitter schizos from going after her and continuing to harass her online, because that will still happen. And I'm sure it's probably the same for Sinder as well, but obviously Sinder hasn't spoken about it really, about this kind of stuff. So again, I do think obviously it is one of these things that should really be left till 2025, and we should move on to 2026 and support whoever you want to support, and whatever you think about it, sure, go ahead and support them, right? There was also a donator as well who donated a little bit in the clip, saying that they actually left Sinder's community and went over to her and other people as well within, ShyLily's circle. So again, there's some people that have actually, kind of left the community from Sinder's, but, she's been doing pretty good on stream as well. Sinder's been getting quite a bit of viewership. So, neither of, obviously it's a lot less, but, I feel like she's still doing pretty decently. So, that's good to see, I guess. And also they go on to say she accepted it, but they didn't see eye to eye. They both got closure, and there's also a contradiction of a lot of the Twitter schizos that she's talking about, saying there's a contradiction of wanting her to move on, but also criticizing her for being silent. So that's something else that she brought up, was the fact that a lot of these people on Twitter were being like, oh, why doesn't she just move on from this? Why does she keep dragging this? Why does she keep on talking about this? Yeah, and you continuing on like this. And then, they then criticize her whenever she does stay silent about it, saying, why is she not speaking about this? Like, what? Like, why is she not talking about this? Again, it's very contradictory, and it obviously proves how, little logic they have behind a lot of their arguments. It's because, they just want to find any kind of drama or backlash they can find behind her, which I do think is, yeah, it's just stupid, right? And I do understand that there is, quite a big contradiction with that, because they're saying they want to leave it behind, but also saying, why isn't she talking about it? Which, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And I think, as I said, both of the VTubers now want to leave this behind, I feel like. Obviously Sinder in a document as well, that felt like a kind of like final thing to say about it, and then she was just going to go back to streaming and doing what she's doing, right? And I think ShyLily, with this statement here, this is exactly what because, ShyLily didn't really respond whenever the document came out, right? I feel like this is her kind of final message to let everyone know that, hey, they've talked, they found closure, and that's it, right? And she wants to move on. She doesn't want to be harassed anymore over this, you know, and I'm sure maybe deep down she doesn't want Cinder to be harassed over this too. Again, I don't know. I don't know if, you know, ShyLily's thinkings, but again, I feel like both of them just want to move on. And I think that is, you know, the main thing that I think a lot of people should be taking away from this, because again, it's become a little bit ridiculous. If there is still someone talking about this to this day, it really doesn't matter at this point. I think, honestly, you know, a lot of them have gotten and found their feet back in the Twitch space, have, you know, started streaming again. Obviously, in terms of Cinder, ShyLily's continued on streaming and, you know, just kept on doing what she's doing. And I think that's just how it should be now. And honestly, I don't think there needs to be any more kind of, I guess, bloodshed from this, you know, bloodshed. It's VTuber drama. Like, it's not like a, you know, World War II, right? But again, I do think it is pretty insane. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you guys that update because a lot of people probably wouldn't have seen this, as it is just literally in a VOD. I didn't see any clips or anything coming out about this. So again, you know, I just kind of wanted to give you guys that summary. And yeah, I just found it very, very interesting. And yeah, just wanted to share it with you, as it seems like this might be the end. And this might be the final. I've said this a couple times in my videos now, but I'm hoping maybe this will be the final video on this situation as a whole. I guess we'll see. You know, maybe someone will release a Google Doc in a couple of days or something, and we'll be back to square one. But for now, it seems like ShyLily wants to move past it, and it seems like Cinder wants to move past it as well. Well, I say move past it, you get what I mean. They want to just like continue on doing what they're doing, and that's about it, right? But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, Good Game Subs, use my code Kazo, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.